There's a global recession that's going on right now. Many people are concerned about their jobs, their livelihoods, being able to protect their family. So in this video, we'll discover the first thing of what's actually happening today. I'll give you the insights there. And then I want to look at investments that people are doing. And the third thing is earning. You need to bring in that income, but how can you do so even in a recession? All of that will be covered here. Let's begin. I know a lot of people, they might be scrolling on Instagram and YouTube and they're hearing about this business idea and that business idea and this one's a scam and this one isn't. I'm going to show you some information today that is relevant no matter what, okay? The first thing we need to understand is what's actually happening, because if you want to be able to know where you're going to go, you got to first establish where you are. Layoffs mount and Main Street still can't find any workers to hire for open jobs. The jobs market is a disaster right now. The numbers don't make sense. People are finding themselves out of work, and yet there's millions of jobs that are open, and it's just something that is a historical anomaly. We have this example of Cisco, their layoffs of over 4,000 people, adding to the jobs already listed, over 120,000 layoffs this year. And you could see that through layoffs tracker. So if you go to a search engine, type in layoffs tracker, you'll be able to get that. I've covered it in previous videos and we'll keep you up to date. So if you want to see that, just subscribe. You could see the inflation levels today. Now this happens to be Truflation, T-R-U inflation, and you can get this website and basically just shows you on the dashboard, breaking it down, looking at it over the past year and where things have been for the United States, 6.91%. If I flip over to the UK, you see 16.55%. They use, I believe it's 10 million different data points in order to be able to get this information. Does it really matter whether it's 6.5% or 16.2%? It all depends on you, the individual, and what you buy, okay? You could look at shadow stats, you could look at the CPI numbers, you could look at anything, okay? It doesn't matter. The point here is that things are more expensive, and they have generally become more expensive than the wage increases that people had received. Okay, so we see month over month over month over month, people are worse off than they were before. That's what all I'm trying to get at here, okay? The exact percentages, to be honest with you, they're never going to be what you have. Just an example, if you see childcare has gone up, you know, some people bring their kids to the daycare, but what if you don't actually spend on that service at all? Then you wouldn't experience that inflation as a result of that increase, okay? Just something like that. Look here, I-bonds. We're talking about the investments here, investments. Many people today have been putting their money into different investments, and this is one example, I-bonds. You could see right now they change this every 6 months it changes, and it's 6.89% at this time. Now that is a great rate if you consider it to be guaranteed, compared to many others that might actually lose money over the next little while. So hey, getting almost 7%, certainly not bad. Now there's many limitations on this, including, I believe, the maximum of $10,000. But for some people, that might be a good thing. Okay, so that's one aspect. What the point I'm trying to make here is you want stability during these times. You're not trying to get maximum appreciation. There's a lot of YouTubers, probably some of those same ones that were telling people to invest in FTX, were the ones that are telling people that you got to go all out, maximum appreciation all the time, quote unquote, I'm going to be rich. I heard that guy say that, won't mention his name, but anyway, I'm going to be rich, and was really emphasizing that. Anyway, you'd let me know if you can guess who that was. But anyway, so this is something that I believe for a lot of people is really important. Having stability during these times doesn't mean that you keep it in there for the rest of your life. It means that you want to have that in order to be able to, you know, what they call risk parity. So that you do have some things that are, you know, really aggressive and other things that are very conservative. And that helps you over a period. This is something that I've talked about many times before. Okay, what you're looking at here is cash flow, income producing real estate properties. Okay. And that basically means what I'm trying to show you here, not this particular building or anything, is you have a building that might have, let's say, 50 people in it, 50 different pieces of real estate in one. And with this, it's going to cash flow, if you've done it properly, it's going to cash flow from the very first day. And you know that, you can calculate it, you know what your bills are going to be, barring any unforeseen events, you got to keep a buffer in there, everything. And these type of properties are going to be obviously more expensive. One thing that people do not understand about multifamily residents is that they do not fall into the same pricing model as you would a single family residence. So you might have this example of, all the homes in the area selling for $100,000. However, if, and what your neighbor sold for, chances are, yeah, you might have, this feature or that feature, but usually it goes for about the same thing. However, in a property like this, whatever the rents are determines the actual price of this place. That's the way it works. It's very different. So if you can create an environment in which you are increasing the rents, maybe because you put new laminate floors, you put new paint job, you fix the landscaping, whatever the case may be, you might get a much higher rent than the guy down the street and it's worth more. But you might say, okay, 50 units, I can't afford that. This is when we need to be creative. And that's probably going to take me into the next segment that we'll look at. But this is important because you need to, at these times, you have to get creative. And that might mean that you and 12 other people are going to get together. Now, it might be you with your name on it, and you might be the one not even putting a dime in. Why? Because you're going to manage the entire thing. You found the property, you're going to fix all the toilets, you're going to do all this, and maybe you don't even have any money invested. But if you can gather together these people and put together a report, and we'll talk more about this at the end, by the way, put together a report. This is what I'm going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Each and every person commits this amount of money. This is your paycheck that you're going to get at the end of every month. What do you say? This is the way it's got to work. You can be negative all you want, and we'll talk more about that. But that's just the way it's going to be, okay? Look, you can go ahead today and get into business. And these businesses, a lot of them, are considered to be recession proof. One way to get into a business is a franchise. You could buy a franchise. Of course, you might think of franchises like McDonald's and Starbucks and all these other ones. But there are many others. We'll talk about that in a second here. You can also buy a business. So this is just a few examples. Flippa, Empire Flippers, and there are others. You might have heard of them, doesn't matter. Places where you can go and actually, like a classified ads, to buy businesses that people will have. They're done with them. They don't want them anymore for one reason or another. That's up to you to do your due diligence into what you think you could do with that business. But you don't have to start from the ground. You really don't. Okay, what about in this example here of actually reselling vehicles? Did you know that in some states in the US, you can sell vehicles, essentially flip vehicles, up to 11 times in a given year? So imagine almost every single month, you have the potential to make, maybe a couple grand just doing this, if you know what you're doing. Let's say you're a mechanic, or let's say you just happen to be pretty handy. You can do a few basic things, or you have a family member or a friend who is a mechanic, who's very skilled in this way. Well, why not work on a deal? You can buy these vehicles, maybe you find them nice and cheap, maybe you can contact a few people, you do I put the ads out there. Hey, I got the cash ready for you. This is your price. I'll come right now. I'll pay you the money. These type of things take a little bit of hustle, but you can do it. And it's not going to be maybe the biggest difference in the world, but hey, $1,000 here, $1,000 there, it can happen. It can really make a difference in your life in the end. Okay, so that's just one thing. And I'm only sharing these examples. I really don't want to see people, nitpicking on why that can't work. And I just really don't like that. That's truly a negative belief structure, in my opinion. This is a cleaning service. I just typed in cleaning services and you could see it for yourself, just looking at this around your area. Now, you don't necessarily have to start a cleaning service and you don't have to clean people's houses. What the theory is here is that you can use contractors to do your business. You worry about setting up the business, calling the clients, making things happen, and you could use a contractor. Now, the same thing could apply for cleaning the inside of people's homes, could be the outside of people's homes. It could be anything you could think of. Could be something related to construction or maybe landscaping or anything. Okay, you could manage the business. Doesn't mean that you're in Hawaii. I didn't say that. You could be managing them directly, but you're not necessarily doing that aspect of the business. And this could be something that could interest some people. People right now, today, pay an extremely large amount of money for some pretty basic things. They're willing to pay because they have that disposable income. You might say to yourself, no, I wouldn't pay for that. But you're not the customer. You're not the customer. Don't ever think about what I would do or what I'm willing to pay for. Is there somebody out there willing to pay for this product or service? Yes. Are there a lot of the customers available, or at least enough? Yes. You might have yourself an idea. Think about it like that. Don't think about what you are willing to do. You're the business owner or operator or that service. You've got to think outside that box, okay? Come on. This is ATMs. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but you can make a business out of ATMs. You might say to yourself, no, can't be done. People are going to steal the money. Well, cash is trash. Cashless society. It's not good for this reason or that reason. Well, how about this? A family. This father ended up buying his kids an ATM, and they obviously all together are responsible to, replace the cash machine, put new cash in, take care of any, things that are happening, whatever the case may be, okay? And basically he's trying to set them up with a little bit of cash, depends on the given ATM machine. There's probably a couple $100 a month from what I understand per month. Not a huge deal, but hey, these children are going to be making actual money. And think about it, I don't know how old some of these kids, let's just say at 10 years old. At 10 years old, if you're bringing in even $20 a month, seeing where it's coming from, that's going to teach them some real good skills about earning money. That's just one ATM. Okay, so if you need to get it done, you can get it done. There are so many business ideas. Do not be held back by the naysayers. Think of something interesting. I'm just trying to show you really, really different, diverse type of things, including this. Car detailing. Do you know how much people will pay just with, fairly average cars? I'm not talking about Lamborghinis and Ferraris, just average cars. How much money that they would pay to get their car detailed? You would be surprised. Okay, we're talking about, let's say, around $150 to $200 range to have their car detailed. And this could be all in people in your neighborhood. Just think about that, okay? One car, how long could it take you? A couple hours, even if you're super detailed? If you manage to get 2 in a day, you're probably making more than most people you know. It's just a matter of getting the customers. And are there going to be people that screw you over? Are there going to be problems that happen and your equipment breaks down and this is that? Yes, it's going to happen. Just like you can get laid off from your job, just like something could happen to you on the way to work, just like you're whatever. Do not think of that stuff. It is so unusual to just dwell on that over and over and over again. So these are the ideas that I had for you today. Let's break down the next aspect. So with this recession, a lot of people will be unemployed or maybe underemployed, and some might just want some more cash. So we need to follow these steps in order to really be able to have our own hold on our situation. That's just the way it goes, okay? First things first, understand where we're at. Okay, recession. We're in the middle of a global recession as expected, while we increase rates to calm down inflation. So if they're going to increase interest rates, we know that monetary policy is tighter. We know that the fiscal policy is a little bit tighter than it was before. And so as a result, things are going to slow down. That means layoffs. That means people need to find their other sources of income. If we are holding on to millions of dollars in assets, we can potentially earn a decent interest. But for most people, that just isn't the case. Okay, so if you had, let's just say $10 million plus, you could take that, you could put in somewhere really conservative, and you can live no problem off of that, and you're all good. Okay, you can hang out on the beach, you don't need to worry about anything else. But unfortunately, for most people, we have not really achieved these levels. So what do? Well, we need to find a way to actually bring in a lot of income, multiply that income, and then put it somewhere nice and safe. You see, this is why they're always trying to teach you the wrong things out there, because they're potentially in the wrong state of mind. They don't realize this because they're in their own world. A lot of these YouTubers that are talking to you, they're literally making thousands and thousands of dollars a day, not hundreds of dollars a day. They're making thousands of dollars every single day from the ad revenue, from the FTX, sponsorships, from other things out there that we might not, affiliate links, whatever the case may be. But if we're smart, we're going to be looking at, who we're dealing with here and try to take in the information, but understand that, okay, there's a big difference in, your situation and my situation. Okay, building a business with very little capital and a lot of sweat equity is the answer. And that's the big problem. People don't want to sweat. They really don't want to. I've noticed this before. I don't want to do that online thing. Oh, no. I don't want to do that. I just want to know how easy I can make money. It's up to you. Use your current skills or basic knowledge and leverage that. Remember I said, if you're a mechanic, you know that skill already. You can utilize that. Okay, not necessarily fixing cars, but in that flipping car scenario, you know what a good car is. So you have that skill, you have that knowledge and understanding, you can be doing that. And I'm just trying to show you that it's a disconnect in between the two. The mechanic's job isn't to flip it. Okay, a mechanic, let's just say, is to somebody brings the car in, they fix it, they return it to the customer. And so in that case here, you might not see it being the exact same or being valid, but it is valid. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Use your current skills, basic knowledge, leverage that. There are many softwares that will give you an advantage for a reasonable price. So depending on the business that you are looking at, you could potentially, actually utilize a software that just makes your process easier. And it depends on, of course, the business, okay? Do not listen to weak people who will shut down your ideas if they are sound, if you have the details written up, you've done all the homework, you've seen others that have done the same thing before you, then you can too. Do not listen to the naysayers. Do not listen to their childish ways and their nonsense. That doesn't mean every idea works, and it doesn't mean that your idea is going to work. But if you've seen 100 people before you do the same thing, and you've done the numbers and it looks great, and somebody just says, nah, never going to work, buddy. Never going to work, buddy, because of this, because of that. I've been told all of that all throughout my life. Don't ever listen to them. I'm telling you now. Don't ever listen to them. I have faith in you. If you want somebody to give you permission, you let me know and I'll give you that permission. Okay? Hit that subscribe down below. I'll see you tomorrow.